Every new year comes with pressure. Pressure to fix what's broken, pressure to be more disciplined, pressure to finally get it all together. And no one may say it out loud, but we all feel it. This pressure to be better, do more, don't fall behind. But here's the problem. Most of that pressure, it doesn't come from Jesus. It doesn't come from the Bible. It comes from our culture. The world says your value is tied to your output. God says your value was settled at the cross. The world says, hurry up, don't fall behind. But God says, be still, abide in me. So before you make another resolution that sounds impressive, you might want to ask a different question in 2026. Is this forming me into the image of Christ or just shaping me into a better performer? Because the Bible offers a very different way into the new year. Resolution number 1, I'm going to do less. The world tells us your value is measured by your productivity. More output, more hustle, more accomplishments. But Jesus once spoke to someone who was doing everything right and told her she was missing the one thing that mattered. Luke 10:41 and 42, Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you are worried and upset about so many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. See, Martha wasn't sinful. She was actually very successful. She was distracted, though, by activity instead of presence. Sometimes our biggest spiritual struggle isn't sin. It's busyness disguised as obedience. So this year, I'm not trying to do more. I'm trying to do what actually matters. Because what if doing less creates room for God to do more in 2026? Resolution number 2, I'm going to live with less noise. This one's not about rest. It's about attention. We live in the loudest generation in human history. Notifications, opinions, outrage cycles, endless voices telling us what to buy, fix, or become, what to fear, right? But the Bible tells us something surprisingly different about how God speaks. And we see this in 1 Kings 19:11 through 12, and this exchange with Elijah. The Lord was not in the wind in this text. He was not in the earthquake, not in the fire. But after the fire came, a gentle whisper. God never stopped speaking to Elijah, right? Elijah just had to get quiet enough to hear him. If everything in this world has your attention, God will eventually have none of it. So this year, I'm guarding my inputs, my mind, my attention, because if my life is loud, God's voice will always feel distant, even when he's near. Resolution number 3, I'm going to stop chasing more. You know, culture tells us the same lie over and over. More money, more stuff, more success. Then you'll feel secure. Then you'll be happy. Jesus warned us about that very thinking, though, in Luke 12:15. Watch out, he says. Be on guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions, he said. More doesn't satisfy. It multiplies anxiety and pressure in our life. More fear of losing what you've gained. More stress trying to maintain it. Contentment isn't settling, it's freedom. So this year, I'm not asking, how can I get more? I'm asking, how can I be grateful for what God has already provided in my life? Because peace, not progress, that's the real promotion. Resolution number 4, I'm going to say no more often. You know, we live in a culture that's approval addicted. We say yes to everything, keep everyone happy, never disappoint anyone. But Jesus never lived that way. In fact, in Matthew 5:7, it says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Jesus disappointed crowds, religious leaders, even people who followed him, and he never once apologized. He never once apologized for obeying the Father. Every yes cost you something. Did you know that? It costs you time, energy, focus. So this year I'm saying no to good things so I can say yes to God things. Because boundaries aren't unloving. Disobedience is. Resolution number 5, I'm going to release control. Control feels responsible. But it's exhausting, isn't it? We plan, we manage, we worry. But the Bible tells us in one of my favorite verses, in Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Faith begins where control ends. You don't need the whole plan. You don't need all the answers. You just need the next obedient step. So this year, I'm trusting God instead of trying to manage outcomes. Because faith isn't passive, it's dependent. These resolutions, they're a different way into the new year. They won't trend. They won't impress hustle culture. They won't look powerful on paper, but they'll do something far more important in your life and mine. They'll form our heart, because God is not impressed by productivity. He's after transformation. The goal of the new year isn't becoming a better version of yourself. Forget that. It's becoming a truer disciple, a truer follower of Jesus Christ. Less striving, less noise, less chasing, and more trust, more obedience, and more peace in our life. So maybe the question isn't, what am I going to accomplish this year? Maybe it's this: who am I becoming as I follow Christ? Because the world offers pressure, but Jesus offers rest in 2026.